There we go. So we're going to check the homework that you guys did for the weekend, right? You were supposed to read the essay, the whole essay on page 129, analyze it, and particularly find what the thesis statement in that essay was, and then to go over an overview of all of the different elements that you could find on page 130 taken from the essay, okay? That's going to help you guys particularly to see like an actual example of what an organized essay could look like. This is not the only type of essay, but it is very similar to the kind of essay that you're going to have to use, well, for our task 4, and particularly for the IELTS. In the writing section, we already practiced the task 1, which was the graph analysis, but the task 2 will be an essay. Remember, I think it's worth maybe giving that a look first. What's going on? Wait a second. My computer just went a bit crazy there for a second. Okay, give me a second. So task 2 IELTS question. There. If you type that into Google, you're going to get literally millions of results with tons and tons of materials. But if you want to just have a look at like what it actually would look like, just go to 2 images. For instance, an example of what that part would look like is this. Writing task 2. You should spend about 40 minutes on this task. Remember that you will be giving part 1 and part 2 at the same time, and you can control your time, in whatever way you want. But if you take more than you're supposed to in one of the 2 parts, then you will probably not have enough time for the other one, right? So the first task we already practiced should only take you 20 minutes. And the second task, which is what we're going to be talking about today and which we're going to be doing for the final task of this term, will supposedly only take 40 minutes. That's easier said than done, particularly if you are not, used to writing that kind of text all that much. What you get is pretty much this. Write about the following topic. Increasing the price of petrol is the best way to solve growing traffic and pollution problems. To what extent do you agree or disagree? What other measures do you think might be effective? So, this is one of the types of questions that you could get, in which you're giving an idea and then you're asked to either agree or disagree with it. It's very similar to the exercise that we did with the debate, more or less. Yes? Only in written form, right? Give reasons for your answer and include any relevant examples from your own knowledge or experience. Write at least 250 words. Every exam works slightly different. Every exam is graded slightly different. What do I mean by that? For instance, the French DALF exam, the advanced French exam, tells you also you should write around 300 words or something like that. And if they say around 300, that means you can write 10% more or 10% less, and it works. Any less or more than that penalizes you. But in the IELTS, they don't say around 250 words, they say at least 250 words, which means if you write 249 words, they would penalize you. I know it's silly, but it is what it is. The judges, the people who grade the test will actually count word by word. Just for reference, any words that are hyphenated count as one word. Any words that are contracted, like there or can't or something like that, will count as just one word. But anyways, you probably shouldn't use contracted words anyhow, because it's very informal for an essay in any way. But just in case you were wondering, it would count as only one. Punctuation marks, etc., are very important, but they are not counted. They are not, it's not a special number of characters, but instead a specific number of words they're going to be looking for. So don't write any less than 250 words in this kind of exam, but also don't write too much more. Okay? This might sound strange because in our culture we normally tend to think that if the teacher says write 2 pages and you write 3, you're bound to get a really good grade because you did an extra work. And I don't know, that's just part of our culture. And if you write 5, it's like the teacher has to give me a 5. I mean, how could he not? Right? That's more or less how we often think about that, about quantity. But in IELTS, definitely they don't care about quantity, they care about quality. So if you write exactly 250 words and it is well organized, you might get a band 9. It would not make it any more likely that you get a better grade if you write 500 words or 350 or something like that. Even it could make it less likely because it might mean that you make more mistakes. Maybe you start repeating ideas. Maybe you write so much because your ideas are not well organized. I don't know. There are many reasons why writing too much is also not a good idea, right? So, I mean, anywhere from 250 to like 270 or 75 would be just perfect for this kind of essay, okay? You probably won't have time to count everything, but an approximation that you can make is just to start writing, and when you finish the first line, count how many words you wrote there, and then sort of do a little calculation like, okay, let's say that I wrote 15 words because of my particular size in handwriting. I wrote 15 words in this line, which means that I more or less have to write 10 lines total, maybe 11, maybe 12, just to be sure. That's a way to do it that can help you have a very, very close idea to how much you're writing. Okay. Anyways, for now, just have a look at the text that you guys have in the actual book. Comment what you thought about it. Comment the outline that you did for it. What was the thesis statement? What was the thesis statement of the individual paragraphs, if there was any? What was the topic that was addressed? How were the ideas organized? And I'll be calling you back to do a similar exercise, but now writing an outline yourselves. Okay? So for that, I think around 20 minutes should be more than enough. All right? I'm going to be pausing the recording now because I don't think that part is going to be very relevant for those of you who are not here. That's something that they're going to have to either do by themselves or just have done already. All right. So guys, let's review what you guys did. What did you guys found for the structure of the essay? Oh, okay. So, complete the outline with information from the essay. Introduction. Hook, something that grabs your reader's attention in the introduction. What was the hook, in your opinion? Maybe group number 2. That was, I think, Christian, Eric, Juan Sebastian, and Luisa. So, Luisa, what was the hook of this essay?
According to what I got, is an anecdote.
An anecdote. It also has a rhetorical question, right? But I think the book only lets you pick one. And the most important part is not the rhetorical question, it's the anecdote. I would say it's both, right? There's no quote. Interesting fact? Not really. A simile or a metaphor? No, not particularly. But a rhetorical question and an anecdote? Yes. Important question. What would you say was the thesis statement of the whole essay? For instance, Camila, Catherine, and Laura Lisette. Maybe, I don't know, Catherine. What did you ladies think was the thesis of the essay?
Where it says that communication is important. I don't remember actually.
I think it was context.
Context in communication is everything.
Context in communication. That
is everything.
And that's it. I mean, remember that the thesis, though, is like the most important, kind of like the summary of the whole essay. Is the whole essay only talking about how context in communication is very important? Is that it? I would agree that this idea is very important, but I don't think that's actually the thesis.
It also goes, modern communication often lacks such content, which creates problems we need to solve.
I would say that's more of the actual thesis. So it would start here. Modern communication often lacks, well, such context, which what? Which in turn, Laura?
Which creates problems we need to solve.
Which creates problems we need to solve. So all of that is the thesis. Modern communication often lacks context, which creates problems we need to solve. Because the whole essay is not just about how context is important, it's also providing possible solutions, giving theories as to what we could do in specific contexts to address that. So this is more likely to be the thesis. Now, what was the topic sentence of body paragraph 1? Group number 1. That would be Edward, Mafia, and Valentina. Maybe Edward, tell me about it.
It was technology promotes rapid communication, but removes necessary context.
Moves necessary context. Yes, I would say the whole thing is the topic sentence. I mean, technology promotes rapid communication is an important part of it, but only that would not be the topic sentence, because the rest of the paragraph is not just about how technology is awesome because we can communicate quickly. It also addresses many problems that it can create. Even here we say problem number 1, lack of context can cause, maybe Christian, tell me about that. What can it cause?
Can cause a lot of, I mean, I didn't wrote
You don't have to do it in this part. You don't have to put it verbatim, like word by word.
Okay.
It can be paraphrased.
Okay.
This
So,
part, the topic sentences and the thesis are supposed to be very, very literal, but the problem can just be like a paraphrase of the problem. A lot of what?
Lack of context can cause a lot of misunderstandings when communicating with people, especially in texting and other written ways of communication.
A lot of misunderstandings, especially
In texting and other written ways of communication.
texting and other written ways of communication. Yep, I would say that's pretty much what the problem stated here was. Nice. Body paragraph 2 now. Somebody from group number 3, maybe Camila. Problem 2. Young people don't learn. Are you there, Camila? Maybe then somebody else? Oh. What was that? Was it me or was it her internet?
It was her.
Okay. Then Laura? Oh, and I think Camila is also struggling with her internet. Camila, what do you think the problem stated in the second paragraph was? Or, well, the third one, if you are counting the introduction. Laura Alicia?
Interpersonal skills.
Personal skills. I would maybe add a little bit something like, because of the means of communication, they, what's the word I'm looking for? they usually choose or something like that. But yeah, the problem is that they don't learn interpersonal skills, basically. Then, what is the topic sentence of paragraphs 3 and 4? Again, somebody from group number 1. Maybe Mafe.
Texting is useful.
That's it? Texting is useful?
And convenient, but it has negative effects.
But it has negative effects. Okay, remember that topic sentences should be as literal as possible, though. So more than just how it has negative effects, we are now going to address how to solve those negative effects, right? I don't remember exactly, but yeah, it must have been something like it has some negative effects and there are some techniques, was it? Mechanisms? I don't remember the word. What was the word? Anybody?
Ways.
Ways we can address them. Or something to that extent. I mean, I don't remember exactly how it was, but that idea is what the topic sentence is trying to express. Then, what's the first solution that is mentioned? Somebody from group number 2, maybe Eric. Tell me about it. Eric?
Maybe a solution is just give me a second.
All right. It's the one mentioned in the first of the 2 paragraphs, right? Like this one. First, it's right there, even quite signposted.
In order to develop an effective communication, giving context and emphasize, it is
Context
mandatory.
and empathize.
Yeah.
I'm not writing. Giving context and empathizing. Is that how you write empathizing? I think it is, right? Empathizing. Is that the correct spelling of empathizing? Empathy, empathizing. That should be it, right? Okay, so that's the first solution. What's the second solution then? Somebody from the next group. Wait, who am I missing? Oh, well, some people left, but then Catherine. What is the second solution that is mentioned?
Can you go back to the text?
Sure.
I forget. Providing more context and practicing. It's how? Where was it?
What was the question? You mean?
Isn't
Yes,
this
Christian.
paragraph?
You're right. So providing context was solution number 1.
Okay.
And then empathizing basically was solution number 2, or at least a part of it. Empathizing and what else? In this part. Catherine? Are you there?
What?
I was just saying, empathy is certainly a part of the second solution, but they do mention something else very specifically that you need to do or that you should do according to them. What is it?
Reading text. Okay, psychology suggests reading text or email before hitting send.
Rereading.
Rereading.
So rereading before you hit send. and rereading before submitting. There you go. Submitting. Submitting there. So that's pretty much it. What about the conclusion, lastly? Maybe Juan Sebastian. What are the things or the thing that the writer or the author of this essay did as a conclusion? Did he make a restatement of the thesis? Yes or no? Oh, Juan Sebastian, are you there? A lot of people seem to be like having a hard time with the internet today. Juan?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Did he do a restatement of the thesis? Yes or no?
No, I don't think I don't think so.
Okay. Did he do a summary of the main points of the whole essay?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
And
some
then
of us.
did he tie back to the intro? Did he talk about something related with the introduction?
No,
No?
like the introduction, like
The story
anecdote,
about
the
the
story.
anecdote.
Okay.
So no.
No.
Okay,
Or
let's check.
okay, yes. I mean, maybe not directly.
Not explicitly.
Yes, but also it's related with the topic. No, like for example, it say like or missing an important warning. Maybe this
And
can be
the sentence
related.
right before, something like
Yes.
we can understand that somebody is insulting us or something like that. We may perceive an insult where none was intended. That's clearly a reference to the story about the person yelling donkey, which was not that the other driver was a donkey, but that there was an actual donkey in the middle of the road. Right?
Yes.
But also, as technology allows us to send messages more easily and rapidly, it may strip away some of the context that enables effective communication. I would say that is a very clear restatement of the thesis. So in this case, the writer chose to do everything. There is a restatement of the thesis. There is a summary of the main points and ideas. Look, he says then, providing more context and practicing interpersonal skills, including empathy, clarification, and the careful expression of ideas can minimize negative effects. That's like a summary of this part. This is like, if you just read the last paragraph, you get a pretty good idea what the whole text was about. No? That is a very good conclusion. Something that doesn't just repeat the same word exactly as they were, but restates and paraphrases some of the most important ideas. Okay? The idea is then to be able to create something like this, evidently not as complicated because this is way too long. Oh yeah, I didn't mention that. We said that we had 40 minutes for the whole thing. Writing something like this, I mean, how long did it take us just to check it? Like 20 minutes? So writing something this detailed would take too long. You need to do a simplified version of it, but it is very recommended that you spend 5 minutes in creating an outline.
Try to think your microphone it's off.
The microphone went off, yeah.
Can you hear me now? Hello, can you hear me now? You can, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry about that, I touched the cable. I have to do something with that cable. So I was saying, the outline cannot be all that detailed because you only have 5 minutes for it. So what could the outline be? Something like, okay, so I'm going to write an intro, paragraph 1, paragraph 2, and a conclusion. So what am I going to write in the intro? Maybe, and let's take this as the example. Increasing the price of petrol is the best way to solve growing traffic and pollution problems. Okay, maybe just a fact about traffic and pollution problems in Bogota. About traffic and pollution problems in Bogota. Okay, then paragraph number 1. What can I do in paragraph number 1? Maybe to give examples and to just go deeper in like what the impact of the price is. So, okay, how price affects, well, maybe I could address just one, like the traffic, and then give some examples, and then how it affects pollution, right? We can divide it like this. And then in the conclusion, well, we're just going to summarize a bit everything and paraphrase. More or less, this is all that you have time to do really in the outline. But even just this very simple, very, superficial outline can help you when you're actually writing to have much more control over where you're going. What we normally do is just to start writing whatever comes to mind and see where it takes us. And that usually doesn't end up too well, because maybe you're not going to actually address the actual point of the essay. You know what else I would say? Maybe restating like the quote or the, how would you call this? Like the sentence, the proposed sentence, like the increasing the price of petrol is the best way to solve growing traffic and pollution problems. Something like, while some people might believe that raising the, what's a synonym of price? Maybe instead of price, like how much, raising how much gas is costs is the best solution to the issues of, you don't have to write the whole thing. I'm just explaining what I mean by restating the sentence. Of, well, pollution is the best way to say pollution. Like, how else can we say that? Contamination. And transportation issues. Like, how can I say traffic in another way? Traffic jams, like, I don't know. And bad traffic or terrible traffic or something like that. Or congested ways in the city, something like that. While some people might believe that raising how much gas costs is the best solution to the issues of contamination and congested ways in the city, I believe these two topics have other underlying causes, so they wouldn't be resolved by simply doing that or something like that. By simply doing so or something like that. I don't know. This is a very bad outline, a very bad restating of the sentence. Yeah. But more or less, this is what you should do. Something that's very important about IELTS in general in the writing sections. You should avoid just copying what this says word by word. If you do, let's say that you write 255 words, but the first 10 are just this text copied word by word. What the evaluator is going to say is like, this is not 255 words written by the student. This is 335. Because the 15 first words are just a copy word by word of the problem that was presented to him or her. That doesn't count as like original writing. So keep that in mind. You don't have to change every single word, as I did. I mean, maybe my version was a bit exaggerated. Plus, you see what I told you? Rereading is very important. I just noticed I used a contraction. Wouldn't, would not be, right? So rereading is very, very important. Oh, can you hear me? Hello? What was that noise? Anyway, do you get more or less what I mean by the outline? Evidently, you would not write all of this in the outline. It's just maybe, okay, I'm just going to restate the sentence and say that I don't fully agree. That's it. I mean, what I did here would actually be more like the actual writing of the thing. Then maybe I wouldn't even have time for another hook. Just saying that might be enough for the introduction. Maybe this is optional. We'll see how that goes. Then, how price affects traffic and other causes for it. And pollution and gas. I would say that pollution is a big source. I mean, gas and cars and all that is indeed a big source of the pollution in the cities. So maybe just that. You could say that indeed it can help solve pollution very much, but maybe not so much traffic because there's other reasons for traffic, and just increasing the price of the gasoline wouldn't necessarily solve that. And then in the conclusion, just summarize everything in paraphrase. Like, this is more or less what those 5 minutes should be used in. Obviously, I took more because I was explaining everything, but I hope this gives you an idea of what the outline would be. Then you have 30 minutes to actually write. Right? And then you have 5 more minutes, which should be taken to reread and do small edits. You won't have time to rewrite everything or to say like, you know what, this is not quite what I meant. Let's delete all of that paragraph and rewrite it. You will not really have time for that. You wouldn't probably have time to write like a draft and then pass the definite version. It's too little time. 40 minutes is not enough to do that. But at least you can reread and find little mistakes. Like, for instance, what I found. Writing wouldn't is not very appropriate in a formal essay. Maybe would not. Maybe you made a mistake in conjugation. Maybe you made a mistake in, I don't know, something else. Yeah. In the tense that you used. Maybe one sentence is too wordy and you can split it with a period and use a connector to start the next sentence, and that makes it more organized and clear. Yeah. Those little edits you have time to do in those 5 minutes. And that's pretty much all the time you have. Okay. So that's how I would recommend you to actually use those 40 minutes. Remember, as I said, that you're given both tasks and you can start in whichever you want. You can start with the essay and then do the graph description, but you should try to be very careful with the time management, because if you take too long in one of the two parts, then you won't have time for the other. Okay? So with all of that in mind, wait a second, because I'm not in the correct tool. With all of that in mind, I'm going to give you some time now, say 15 minutes, or 15 minutes should be enough to actually write your own outline. I already gave you like the most important part of the information that you can find here, or at least a good portion of it. If you want to give this a look, a real quick look, maybe spend 5 minutes with your group just discussing some of the ideas in this. Some of the ideas in this text, maybe 5, maybe 10, make it 10. 10 minutes to read this. And then I'm going to give you 15, which is 3 times as much time as you would actually have in the actual essay, to write your own outline for an essay. We will not write the full essay right now, just the outline. Okay? If you click here, you will find many, many, many questions. So you can pick any topic that you like. These are, by the way, the most common topics that can come up. Art, education, the environment. This is very common. friends and family, government and society, also very common, health, jobs and employment, relationships, science and technology, pretty common as well, sport, travel and tourism, and TV, music, and media. So you can just pick any that you like, say friends and family, and then pick one at random or one that you like, and that's going to be the essay that you're going to be writing today for the practice. Not the essay, the outline, sorry. Let's give it a look. It is commonly believed that nowadays the main factors that affect a child's development are media, pop culture, and friends. A different point of view is that family plays the most significant role. Discuss both views and give your opinion. It is very important that if the essay you pick says discuss both views, well, you actually discuss both views. You don't want to just say, I think the family is the most important, nothing else really matters all that much. You should actually develop this idea a bit more. Like, some people might think that because you spend so much time exposed to media, it can affect this and this and that. I disagree. I actually think that family is more important because this and this and this and that. Yeah. But you should, if the essay asks you to discuss both ways, you should actually discuss both ways. Maybe a good rule of thumb is that you could devote one paragraph to one point of view, the second one to the other, and then in the introduction and conclusion, you just express what your own idea is. Yeah. That's more or less it, okay? I'm going to send both links to your WhatsApp group in just a second, and I'm going to send you to breakout rooms. It is 3:48, almost 3:50. So as I said, 10 minutes up until 4 to just discuss and read the article with your group. And then 15 minutes, that's until 4:15, to write the actual outline and upload it to a forum in Q10 that I will create in just a second, okay? Let me create breakout rooms, smaller breakout rooms this time. Is there anybody who cannot speak for some reason right now? No? Well, I guess, how would I know?
I'm
Juanfe,
sorry.
welcome back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. So you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
I
I couldn't
don't
before.
know. I don't know what happened with my Wi-Fi. I mean, it wasn't working at all.
All right.
So yeah. I'm
Did you
sorry.
hear the instructions though?
Not really. I just
Okay, I'll just join your group and explain everything. Okay. So I'm
thanks.
going to pause the recording now. So we're back recording. Now we're going to, as I was saying, we're going to be put into little groups. And the idea is to give each other feedback regarding the outline, what you think about it, if you like the way it's organized, if you think that maybe something else could be included, or it's missing something, or maybe there are some ideas that are repetitive and maybe a different idea could be included instead of one of the body paragraphs. I don't know. It's going to be your own thoughts. Okay. So there we go. Let's do that.
Did you upload your?
I have to check yours, right?
I wasn't able to upload it because I was in the computers on the university, but they take me out from the room, so I'm in my cell phone now, and I couldn't upload it.
You couldn't upload it.
So
Then let me just send one more person here then so that you can still do the whole exercise. Maybe this room is number 5. Okay. Because there was another 3 people group there. So you can then give feedback to Mafe and to Daira, and then you girls can also give each other feedback. All right, ladies.
okay.
And Luisa, then just upload it as soon as you can because we are going to continue this exercise tomorrow. Okay.
Okay.
No. Yeah, recording us.
Okay, so The human interaction beneath is affecting the earth.
We can read both, and then at the end we get each other comments because we have the same topic.
Yeah. Well, maybe if you want.
Well, I would do it in my phone. Read.
You can read mine.
And I just followed these team questions on the website actually, like, in some cases do the work for you, because they, like, in this case, they formulate few questions, and these two questions might serve as the topic sentence for each of your paragraphs. So
Okay. So
and I took these elements for the introduction and the conclusion. I took them from the exercise on the book, because
okay.
it states very clear what are the options, or what are the best options to write those. I mean, these two parts, the introduction and the conclusion.
It's good. I think you're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
basically.
can read you my statement.
So maybe you can just.
What was the question? And this. Okay. Okay.
So yeah, you should probably organize yours in a way in which you can see clearly what are these four parts,
Okay. Thank you.
what these four parts are.
There you go. I was about to say
Uh-huh.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Hello there, Camila, Juan Sebastian. Are you here? Why are you
Hi,
so quiet?
because I am writing the conclusion part and
Okay, you had some connectivity issues, didn't you?
yes, too.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. So please
Yes,
do that
and
quickly. And Juan Sebas, you were going to say something?
no, yes, I'm waiting for Camila.
Okay, maybe Camila, in the meantime, just to save some time, because we don't have a lot of time at the class left, could you send the link so that Juan Sebastian can start reading the question, familiarizing
Okay,
himself
yes.
with the topic?
Yes.
Maybe that would be nice.
Like from a economic perspective. I don't know what happened. Well, because, for example, economy proposes that all the resources are limited. So based on that and the increasing rate, I don't know, of population will be something, I don't know, like difficult to deal with. So I also mentioned an example about China and India that face different problems due to the overpopulation within their territories. For the consequence, I mentioned the lack of essential resources to continue with our lives can cause significant issues such as a third world war. And my opinion, I said that for me is crucial to apply extreme measures to control the increasing of population. For example, more countries should implement policies to control the natality in their countries as China did many years ago. Because they
Like
restrict,
restricting.
yes, you only had the possibility to have one, well, it would be better if you have a son instead of a daughter. So, well, something like that will be good or could be good in an extreme way. And for the conclusion, I summarize that point, those points. So I wrote something like knowing that the non-regenerable resources are scarce. Okay, that's the word.
Non-renewable.
Not
Non-renewable.
renewable.
Yes.
Because I search for the word, but renewal. Okay. And controlling overpopulation through public policies is imperative to prevent the occurrence of a third world war. And so,
So you actually agree with like telling people to have maybe just one child, like a policy from the government, and you have to have one child per family.
yes, it could be
Good.
nice.
Wow.
Like in
But
China?
yes.
You know, that has, however, led to an unexpected result. I don't know if you're familiar with that. You are familiar with that? The fact that now
Yes.
there are like 8 grandparents and only one grandson that has to take care of all of those elderly people. That's become
Yes.
a real burden on like the new generations in China because of that law. So
Yes, but it's something similar that is happening in Colombia. Like I don't know how to call it, pyramid?
yeah, the pyramid, the pyramid, sorry,
Pyramid?
pyramid.
Pyramid?
Yeah.
Maybe population pyramid?
Mm-hmm.
Like get inverted.
Exactly.
So hard to deal with something like how do you say pension?
Your retirement money?
Retirement? Okay, so your retirement money. Because the young population can afford with that
They
to
cannot cover so
cover
much.
all the
Right.
demand. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But it will be good because, for example, nowadays we are exposed to different, I don't know, like that can kill
Illnesses.
us, illnesses that can kill us even in a short age. So I don't know. For me, it can work.
Okay. It's a highly debatable topic.
Yeah.
But I think that overpopulation is one of the worst problems nowadays for me.
I just saw a video though, like a couple of months ago, about how the population problem that many countries are facing nowadays is underpopulation, actually, which is something you don't hear about all that often.
For example, in Italy,
Mm-hmm.
they are asking people to live in their territory, and they pay to do that.
Yes, I've heard of it. To repopulate the places and to have businesses and things like that. They have like very, let's say, cheap houses that
Mhm.
people can live in if they do some renovations to them. But I think
But continue.
I think the problem is not about like the amount of people, but the amount of let's say, how do you say, consumo, like what they consume,
Consumption.
their consumption. Yeah, like and the ways that they do. For example, if we compare the society in the US they waste way too much. They consume what people in other places could be consuming 10 times less, something like that. I think it's not a problem about the population, but about that consumption.
I'll send you the video that I saw here in case you want to check it out, Valentina.
Thank you.
It's a video by Visual Politic. They have a very clear political stance with which I don't fully agree, but they sometimes present very interesting ideas and just different perspectives. So I think it's worth checking them out.
Yes, thank you.
I mean, okay, so we need to talk about the outline, I guess. So,
What just happened?
no, we were just talking about that we received word that tomorrow, 1 week after tomorrow, we're finishing the course.
Yes, that is true. You were not aware of it?
I mean, we were aware of the date, but not, we
How
were not
close it
aware
was?
of, yeah, how close it was.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, thinking this is about to like to finish.
I know. Time flew this last term, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we started like in August, like in the middle of August.
Mm-hmm. We started
And
exactly on August the 29th.
Okay, by the
September.
end of
September the 29th, actually.
Not August.
Oh no, August the 29th.
August,
Yes.
yeah,
August the
August.
29th.
So, yeah, by the end of August.
Yeah,
So,
and we were wondering if we will have maybe a test, a final test, or
Nope.
just the essay.
Just the essay and the presentation, as usual.
Essay.
And the presentation about it.
Okay.
Good question, though.
So our last feedback day will be Tuesday?
Let me tell you, the last feedback day will be on November the 8th, which would be...
Yeah, it is Tuesday.
A Tuesday, yes. That's it.
Tuesday.
Yeah, because if you say Tuesday, it's like, is it Thursday that you're trying to say, or Tuesday? It's not very clear. Tuesday. All right, everybody, welcome back. So, as we were saying with some of the groups, that's going to be it for the time being. Tomorrow we will actually have some time to write the essay here in the class, get feedback. That's still not going to be the final task. That's just a practice for the final task. And for those of you wondering, our last day of class will be on Tuesday, November the 8th. Yes. And that day we will be doing our final feedback day. And the final task, there will not be any kind of exam or anything. It will just be writing another another task, another essay that we're going to do here in class afterwards, and then preparing a little presentation speaking about the topic from your perspective. Okay, just expressing your opinion on that topic. So that's going to be it for the time being. Thank you very much for being here.